The coolest thing about forms is that they write completely into Curve automatically. So even if no matter what way your patient is filling out their forms, the information goes into their profile and onto their chart without anyone having to go behind and retype in an address or change a phone number or anything like that.
Okay.
Okay. So, first thing we need to do is make sure that you have forms permission. So, if you'll go up to your More option, and we're going to go to Administration, and then if you'll go down to User Management, fourth option from the bottom. Okay, and then go ahead and click on who are you logged in as? Admin staff. Click on Admin staff for me. It's under staff.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, and then up at the top where it says member of, go ahead and click on those blue words there, and let's add form templates to that.
What's mobile?
With mobile, you can view your schedule online from a cell phone.
Okay.
You can view your schedule in details. At this time, you can't make changes to your schedule yet, though. But if you know, had an emergency and you needed to call patients, you could do that from your phone.
Okay.
Okay. All right, perfect. And then go ahead and go back to Curve, back to your schedule, I guess I should say. And let's try this. We'll see if it works, but otherwise it might have us log out and log back in. So go to your More option for me and go to Form Templates. Okay, so we might have to refresh.
Okay.
Okay, and then, yep.
No.
Still no?
Still no. Let's check and make sure that it saved it. Let's just.
I was going to say, we did change it.
Yeah, we did.
User management and then admin staff.
Yeah, we got it.
It's on there. Go ahead and click there and just choose all for me.
Okay.
I don't know if that mobile has anything to do with it or not, but I'm going to try it out and see. And then refresh. If this still doesn't work, I might have you get completely out of it and then log back in.
Okay. Yeah, let's log out.
Okay.
Yay.
Yay, it worked. Okay, so this is where you're
So
going
that's
to go
what you look
to.
like.
Yeah, first thing in the morning. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Little crab
Okay.
eyes.
Yeah. So this is where you're going to go to access any forms that you have saved on your computer. You can build your own forms, and we're going to look at how to do that. For now, if you notice up at the top orange bar of your screen, you have 3 forms that are already preloaded. You have a consent form, a health history, and a patient demographics. So these are already in there for you. They're in your live database. You can use them. You can edit them. You can build off of them if you want to. Basically, it's just a good starting point. So for now, let's click on the 3 dots next to patient demographics. And we're just going to make a copy. So down the last option, make copy in user form templates. And we'll just leave it titled copy, and you can go ahead and create it there. Any forms that you create show up in the bottom section. Okay, so your little shocked woman goes away, and now you have some forms listed there.
With this, you would make a copy if like you want to create your own, off of this as like an,
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, you would make a copy, and then you would click on the little dots again, and you should get the option for edit in the ones down at the bottom. So go ahead and click on your 3 dots. Yeah, and then you have the option to edit it there. So if you wanted to build off of it, you could.
Okay.
Or if you wanted to just start from scratch, now you would just click on your orange box with the plus sign for a brand new form.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now let's go ahead and go to your scheduler. I know it's a lot of clicking, but I want it to look as realistic as it can so that you can get an idea of what this looks like. Perfect. And let's say that Braxton needs to do an update before his appointment. So we're going to go ahead and click on the triangle next to the word forms. And then we're going to click on add form. Any forms that you have listed will be listed here. You can check off as many as you need to. So right now we just have this patient demographics, but if you have multiple forms that mom needed to fill out for Braxton, you could check all of them off. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so go ahead and click there and then say okay. And if you notice underneath the sidekick, now you have your form listed there with an exclamation point letting you know that that is not completed.
Okay.
Okay. At this point, you could let mom know that she has a form waiting in her portal that she needed to fill out for Braxton before they come in. Or when she walks in, if you have something like a kiosk, you could hand her an iPad or whatever the case may be, and she could log in and get that form completed that way.
Okay.
For now, we're going to click on our little black dots over on the side. And then we're going to edit our form. So here's our form. Again, anything that you type in here will automatically change within his profile. Okay. So for now, let's change the address. That one's usually pretty common. Let's say that his address now is 200 South Street. Okay. Now, again, this is if you're helping mom fill out forms. So if you have mom, dad, grandma, somebody like that, bring kids in, they don't want to do it online, they don't know how to do it, they're confused, you can do this for them if you want to. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So if you look down at the bottom right-hand side, you have an option to finish later, or you have sign and complete. Go ahead and click on sign and complete for me. Okay, it's going to pull up to let you review the form, make sure that everything's okay. Once you're done looking at it, you can go ahead and say sign. And now here you can either draw your signature or you can change it at the top to type your signature. There's a signature box and then there's a signature line. There has to be a signature in both spots in order for it to be considered being signed. Okay? If you're drawing your signature, there's a common concern with offices. Does it have to look like a signature? No, it doesn't. Legally, the legal parameters of that is it has to look like the patient had an intent to sign, which means yes, exactly. That's
Oh.
pretty good, doctor.
Oh yeah.
That's
he he
That
did look
looks like
normal
my
for a minute.
regular drawing.
There you go. And I got
All
type
right.
right.
Yep. And then go ahead and type in Braxton's name.
Okay. Whoops.
Perfect.
There we go. Boy, not body. There we go.
And then say sign. Perfect. And now you notice over on the left hand or on the right hand side next to your form, you have a check mark. So that shows you that it's completed. So what that means is if you're in the back and your front office does this with your patient in the front, you don't have to wait for them to let you know the form is done. You don't have to go get it. Nobody has to bring anything back to you. You can just check in the sidekick and it automatically changes.
Okay. Now the key.
Now let's
I was gonna say the kiosk is that. I mean, so I can have it's any whether it's an iPad or whatever. Like, is it an app or how does that work?
I'll show you in just a minute.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Can you go ahead and go to his profile? We want to make sure that address changed the way that it's supposed to. Yep, 200 South Street.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay. All right. Next, we're going to do the portal, and then we'll talk about the kiosk. But to kind of just address that question, the kiosk is going to be any kind of device that's for your patient use. So it doesn't necessarily have to be an iPad. Some offices have a computer in their waiting room that's specifically for patient use. With the way technology is going these days, most offices are getting iPads or tablets for their patients to use. But again, you don't have to do that. You can use a simple computer, or I definitely train offices that say, no, we don't have anything like that. We're not getting anything like that. and that's fine too. Your
Okay.
patients can still fill their forms out online at home, and you can still help them fill it out in the office. So you don't have to do that at all, but if you are planning on having a device like that, we'll still run through the steps of how that works, just so that you know what what your patients will be doing whenever that happens, if you choose to get one in the future.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Now, have we added you in the system? I know we added Theo.
I know we had a Brooke. I don't know if we added me myself.
Let's check to see if we've added you.
Nope, not yet.
Okay, so let's add you in as a new patient. I want you to see what the portal looks like
Okay.
so that you know what it looks like.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
All right, perfect. And you put in your real email address?
Yeah.
Okay, so whenever you're sending a login for the portal, four things have got to be filled out. First thing is they have to have a name, so full name, first and last name. Birthday has to be filled out. The reason for this is they're going to ask for this info, or they're going to be asked for this information whenever they create their account. So if the information doesn't match, they won't be able to create their account. The
Okay.
next thing is they have to have a zip code. Perfect. And then the email address, again, that has to be a unique email address, so that, what am I trying to say? So that they can get that login email. If they don't have a unique email address, they won't be able to get the login email.
Okay.
Okay.
Oops.
Okay.
Okay.
So now let's go ahead and add a form to your account here. So over on the right under the sidekick, we'll add that patient demographics form. Okay, so we see it there waiting to be completed. You have your email address. Now I'm going to have you go ahead and log into your email once you send that login email, but I promise I won't read any of your stuff, okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Now, sometimes I do these and they're like, can you actually see my email? It's like I'm not reading anything, I promise. Okay, so go ahead and click on send login email.
Where is it?
Oh, sorry. It is on the left-hand side right by that little patient picture in blue.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
Okay, so that was sent. So if you'll get logged into the email address you have listed there.
That's Brooks. There we go. So I can pull this one up. Oops, that's not this one.
You have too many emails, doctor.
I know. Hold on. Oh, it's this one. Let me add. Up, up, up. Oops. Okay.
Okay. So now you have your email listed there. So keep in mind, this is what your patients will be doing. Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead and click on log me in. And it's going to have you go through the steps to set up a username and a password. So pretty easy stuff if you'll just go through, fill everything out. And the password has to contain all of this stuff. I don't know why they make this so difficult.
Special characters.
Mm-hmm. I always say, and your firstborn child.
And your favorite child.
Yeah, exactly. My husband has this password that we use for all of our stuff, and when he first told it to me, I was like, that password is crazy. But then I noticed that it satisfies every password requirement ever. Like, you never have to worry about what password you use. I was like, that's pretty smart.
That's awesome.
Okay, so here's your patient portal. So you have your featured education video. You can view more videos as well if you need to.
Is there a
Over
way
on
to
the right, you
change this? Like, I mean, like for like when I send like I'm not going to want to send my patients a featured education video on implants.
I'm not sure. That's a good question.
Okay.
I know that you can email specific videos or assign specific videos,
Hmm.
but I'm not sure if you can change what the featured one is here. Let me write that down. I'll find out and get back to you
Okay.
because I would like to know that too. Give me just a second. Can you
Da,
hear my
da, da.
voice?
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Okay, and then over on the right, you have your appointment summary.
Mhm.
So this is really cool because if you notice, you don't have any upcoming appointments, but if we had all your family linked, you could click on view household appointments and it would show you appointments for everyone in your family, which is really cool for a pedo office because typically you'll have more than one child in a family. So if mom's wondering when all the kids' appointments are, they don't even have to call your office. They can come right into their portal, see exactly when those appointments are.
Oh, nice.
Okay. And then you have your forms section. If you did not have forms assigned, it would say that you don't have any forms. Otherwise, it does say that you have forms waiting. So
Mhm.
click on Go to My Forms. Okay. Now, again, with the forms, you can choose to see forms for all family members. So if 5 kids have 5 patient demographics forms to fill out, mom can do all of those from home without ever having to call your office or ask any questions. They'll all be listed there. Man, he's being loud
Ba,
today.
ba, 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 ba.
It's very exciting with all of the boxes and things everywhere.
Change is the main responsible for the change. No, no. Player, doctor, non-verbal. Has your insurance changed? So since this is new, like I would fill out my insurance here, right?
Right.
But there's a
You would
real.
say whether or not it has changed, and then you could put any details that you have on the line underneath.
So I can't actually enter in all my insurance information here.
No, you would put like Blue Cross Blue Shield of Florida,
Oh,
whatever
okay, got
plan.
it. BCBS, Illinois.
There you go.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
Okay. Now, again, you have the option to finish later. So if you get interrupted in the middle of this and you don't have time to fill it out, you can click on finish later. It'll save whatever you've entered so far, and then you can always come back to it. Otherwise, you can go ahead and sign and complete. And these will be the same steps that we did before. It'll pull up so that you can view it. You can look it over, make sure everything's okay, and then you can go ahead and sign it. All right. And then draw or type.
Okay.
Okay, and now at the bottom you have cancel. It's okay. You also had an option to complete without signing. So sometimes, and I have had this happen so many times with patients, they don't like something that the form says, and so they don't want to sign it, but they still have to fill it out. Okay, so typically that's a good negotiation. This doesn't happen often, but it has happened enough that it's worth mentioning. Maybe you have something on your form about insurance or some sort of legality or something like that, and the patient says, well, I don't agree with that, so I'm not signing that. Well, you still have to have their updated information, so they can complete it without signing it, and it will show as completed, but it's not considered a legal document unless they sign it.
Okay.
Okay. So with paper forms, what I always did in the past was I would put a note, patient refused to sign, or whatever the case may be, and then still scan the form in so we still have it for reference. In this case, just know that they can complete it, but if they don't sign it, it's not considered a legal document.
Okay.
Okay. And that's it. You just updated your form. So if you were patient, it would be that easy to update your patient demographics form on the portal.
Okay.
Okay.
Very easy.
Any
Now,
questions about
now if
that?
I had, um, by the way, I'm in negotiations with that guy. Did I tell you he wrote me back? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
He finally wrote me back and he said, just wondering if there's any updates. If I can help you out at all. And I said, yeah, I appreciate you getting back to me. I said, I understand that there's a monthly fee. I said, if you're willing to waive the $99 terminal fee, I'm ready to do the deal right now.
Did he say yes?
He hasn't responded yet, so I'll wait until he says yes. So
Well, yeah, and you know that they have the authority to do that.
of course, yeah, it's like
Right.
does he want to lose business for $99 when the monthly service fee is So I'm not. I mean, like I said, out of principle, I'll go a year without credit card processing until he says yes. I'll make people pay cash.
Right. Well,
So
I think I know what your question was going to be. Yeah, if you have Bluefin, they would be able to see their balances
mhm.
from their portal over on the right-hand side. It would show their balance, and they could pay their balance online. So if they needed to go in and pay a balance for some reason, they could do that from there.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. And I have the note written down about those videos. I want to know that too.
Yeah, I wanted to also suggest: is it possible then to add some pedo videos? Because I'm sure they use the service for this, and I'm sure there's pedo strip crowns, stainless steel crowns, pulpotomies. I mean, those,
And is there not already like a section for pedo, or are all the categories just different treatment types?
yeah, it's just different treatment types, so it's not. There's nothing that's. Yeah, there's no stainless steel crowns or anything.
Okay. That would be a really good thing to send a suggestion in through a ticket, just so that they know that you want that. One thing, particularly with forms, was pedo offices. Currently, you can't write in your own questions. And a lot of the general dentistry questions they're not exactly right for a pedo office or a specialty office. So it was pedo offices specifically. We have enough of those asking for fields that they can change the questions to be more centered around their specialty,
You mean in terms of
and that
in terms of forms or?
in terms of forms, that they wanted to be able to ask different types of questions because their practice is centered around children and not adults, so your questions tend to be a little bit different.
Right.
And they're beta testing that right now. It should be released within the month. So that was strictly from suggestions that pedo offices sent in.
Okay.
So I tell you that just to let you know, like, if you see that and that's something that you want to see in the videos, send that in as a suggestion, because if you and 100 other offices ask for that, then the developer will just start working on it.
Okay. Yeah. Now is this? So I thought right now I could actually create my own form. Can I not? Or
Yeah, you can. And I'll show you exactly how it works. And you'll probably see as soon as we start doing it what I'm talking about with writing in your own fields.
okay.
Um, you'll see in a minute. So
Okay.
yes, you can build your own forms completely from scratch.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Let's go back over to Curve. Any questions about using the portal at all?
No.
Okay. Do you have any do you think that you're going to have a kiosk in your office, such as an iPad or something like that?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to go through this kiosk setup. Keep in mind that when we're doing this, I can't see what you're doing. So sometimes it gets a little stumbly, but we'll work together and we'll get it figured out. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Let's see here. So the first thing we need to do is we need to discuss what a kiosk is. So a kiosk can be a tablet, an iPad, or a computer designated for patient form completion. A kiosk is not a computer in your office that you have staff members using. So think of it this way. You wouldn't have a patient come into the reception area to complete their form, like behind your front desk. And you would risk the patient having access to protected health information. So for that reason, Curve has a couple of safety checks in place. If you're using Curve on a computer and then try to access a kiosk, Curve will shut down. The same thing will happen if you try to use Curve on a computer designated to be a kiosk. The kiosk will shut down.
Got it.
Okay. The reason for that is just to make sure that we don't compromise any patient information.
Okay.
To secure devices as a kiosk, you do have to register them. By registering a device, you protect patient health information so that the office has control over who has access to patient forms. Kiosk is meant to be used in the office, and you have control over the kiosk device. So, since you're registering that device, if it happens to disappear, such as a kid walks out of your office with an iPad, you can easily unregister the device, ensuring that that device can no longer be activated to complete patient forms.
Okay.
You also want to make sure that your kiosk does not save patient information on the device. You'll want to add the safety measure of making sure that the device is not set up to remember information. So the autofill option, you want to make sure that whatever device you're using, whether it's a computer or an iPad, that you make sure that that autofill option is turned off.
Okay.
Okay? Registering a device only has to be done one time. It's not a daily occurrence. So, all that being said, do you have your phone with you?
Yes.
Is it a smartphone?
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna make your phone a kiosk. Okay.
Yay.
Okay.
I'm excited.
All right, so here we go. Grab your phone.
Got it.
And now keep in mind I can't see you, so just let me know if you're having any issues, okay?
Okay.
All right, so in your device, type in the URL of your database. So let's do it. Let's do it through your training database. We'll see if that works. I did this the other day, and it had to be on the live
Does it
database.
have to be Chrome?
No, it doesn't have to be Chrome. And then once you finish that, you're going to add a backslash and kiosk at the end of your database name.
Okay.
So it'll say trainingfitkidsdentistry.curvehero.com backslash
Oh,
kiosk,
am
KIO.
I doing the training one you said?
Yeah, let's do the
Okay.
training one.
Okay. Sorry. So curvehero.com backslash kiosk.
KIOSK.
Okay.
And what you should see once you press enter or OK is that you need to give the kiosk a name.
Yep. This device is not enabled to use Kurskia. To enable this, give it a name.
Yep. So the name can be something along the lines of iPad number 1 or red iPad if that's the color of the device. And we recommend that you place a label on the back of the device to help you identify it so that you know that this kiosk is being registered to this device.
Okay.
Okay. And then it also asks you for the username and password of the administration user. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's going to be that admin and hero at, I think it's 4321, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Once you're done with that, click on start.
Oh, wait. Admin was on lowercase, right? Yeah. And it
And then
was
heroes.
hero is capital H, right?
Yep.
Yeah. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. It says login access code, office use only.
Okay, perfect. So to get your login access code, you're going to go over to your more option on your computer. Perfect. And then click on kiosk login code. So at the beginning of every day, you'll need to generate a login code and put those into your kiosk so that you can activate them for the day. Okay, so you'll just type in 435024.
Okay.
And then click on start when you're done.
Yep, that's his patient access code.
Perfect.
Cool.
Okay, so on your screen here, say okay. And then in your sidekick, go ahead and assign yourself a form. We'll do that same patient demographics form again. Okay. And now, patient walks in, they're ready to fill out their forms. You have your kiosk all set up, it's activated, it's ready to go. All you'll do at this point is you'll pull up the patient in the sidekick. So we have you pulled up, and then you're going to click on send to kiosk. And it's going to ask you active patient, household, or help. So if you're sending forms for multiple family members, you would choose household. Otherwise, active patient is fine.
Like if it's a parent.
Right.
Okay.
And now it's going to give you a patient access code to enter. Now, you'll notice on your screen here, you have login access code with asterisks there as well. So if for some reason it was a crazy Monday morning and you guys forgot to activate your kiosk for the day, the login access code is there if you click on the eyeball.
Hey.
Okay.
Welcome, Jason.
There you go. And now your forms are there for you to fill out. Same exact thing as filling them out on the computer or on a device, a tablet or something. You would go through, fill out your form. It will ask you to sign. You would sign it, and that would be it.
Cool.
Pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Now, in order to find your kiosk, go ahead and click on done on your screen there. Actually, before we move on to that, so you notice that it had your patient access code listed on the computer. Okay, so a couple things to think about. How are you going to get that information to your patient? Okay, so what I mean by that is what happens if you have 2 or 3 people standing up front? Maybe you have one device, maybe you have multiple devices. Is your front desk going to be verbally saying that code? And if so, how are you going to make sure that the person behind them doesn't think that that's their code? Okay. Offices do this many different ways. What I hear most commonly is that either they'll write the code down on a sticky note and hand it to the patient when they walk in. Hey, here's your code. Can you go ahead and fill out some forms on the iPad over there? Other thing that they'll do is they will have the patient bring them the iPad or the tablet or whatever, and front desk will actually enter the code for them so that as you saw it says, hello, Jason, you can double check at that point to make sure that the patient that's standing in front of you, that is the patient that's logging into the forms.
Okay. That might be...
Okay.
It depends how many patients I'm having. I mean, with pedo, just because I could see the sticky notes getting all over the place, unless...
It could.
Unless I ask them to. It's hard to avoid that.
So just something to think about, and those 2 solutions are things that offices have come up with. So you might come up with something completely separate, and that's fine. Just kind of be thinking about that as you implement kiosks in your practice, that, hey, if we verbally say this, what happens if we have 2 iPads and the other person's standing behind them? The circumstance that would happen at the same time every time is not likely, but occasionally I'm sure that would happen. So just to make sure that you're protecting your patient's information. And then obviously if your patient logs in and they see a different name in the kiosk than their own name, they need to give you the kiosk so that you can go ahead and log out and create a new patient code.
I wonder if you could put a we had like a whiteboard up next to the office. Next to the desk, and you just have the initials with the code. So as the patients are coming in, you could write it. It's not a HIPAA violation, is it? You're just putting there.
No, all it is a code.
Yeah. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
That should work fine too. So just different things to think about. Of course, we don't ever as trainers get to see that side of it once you actually start using the software with your patients. But those different solutions are things that I've heard from offices that have worked for them. So.
Yeah.
Just kind of a starting point for you.
Make it fun. Put like launch codes, So
yeah,
the kids are saying like, "What's that?" Like it get you all set up for your.
And maybe. Yep, and maybe the kids will get something like a sticker or something if they can read off the number and enter it themselves. That would be fun.
Yeah, exactly. You want a prize? Be a good
girl. learn some stuff. Yeah. Right. Okay. If you think that your kiosk code has been compromised, so if you think that that the kiosk is at risk, you can click on the More menu and select Kiosk Login Code, and it'll regenerate that code for you.
Okay.
Okay, so when you choose to regenerate a code, all the devices designated as a kiosk will stop working until the new kiosk code is entered. So if you ever think that something is wrong, you can regenerate this, but just know that if you have multiple, we've been talking about one or two, but some bigger offices have, 4, 5, 6 different iPads. Now you're going to have to go around to all of them and put in the new code in order for them to work.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Keep in mind that each device does not have its own kiosk code. So all the devices will share this one. When you regenerate it, it changes it for everybody. And I had a note here. Let's see. If your patient fills out forms and then you realize that the form has been completed, but the patient entered the information incorrectly, what you would do in that situation, and it's probably very common that that happens, you would re-add the form to the patient, have the patient correct the information, and complete and sign the form. Okay, so once they've completed it and signed it, there's no way for them to edit it, but it's saved in there. So if there's one thing that they forgot to change, they don't have to go through and fill out the entire form again. But you would need to go through the steps of re-adding the form, have them fill out whatever information was missing or inaccurate, and sign another one. And then it'll just save both copies for you.
So how do I know? Like if they bring it up and then I'm like, well, wait a minute, this is wrong, or how? Like,
Yeah, exactly. So if they fill out a form and then you take them back and you say, "So, little Johnny, I hear you have high blood pressure." And mom's like, "No, he doesn't." Oh, okay. Well, something must have been clicked incorrectly or something like that. Let's have you update that form just to make sure we have good records.
okay. And what if they say like,
Okay.
why don't you? Can't you just do that for me?
And you can, but
Okay.
if you want the form to be updated, since it's a signed legal document, that's probably what I would tell mom. Absolutely, I can change it in his chart, but we have this form that's signed by you, so we just want to make sure that that's accurate.
Okay.
Or if you think it's not a big deal, if it's something small like that, like you think it was just something that was checked incorrectly or something, then you don't have to worry about it. But in the instance that you need them to change something, know that you can't right click anywhere and just edit a completed form. You have to add a new one.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
To find your form or your kiosks to be able to unregister them, go up to your more option for me and click on administration. And then go to kiosk configuration. It's your last option on the top. And there is your kiosk. Okay, so it tells you the device name. I like that name, the site name, when it was enabled, who it was enabled by, last login, and then at the end of that is delete. So if somebody walks out with your iPad, if you're no longer using a device, you can simply come in here and just delete it.
Okay. Now people have tracking on their iPads, right? I mean, so people walk out. It's pretty easy to.
Yeah, and considering that you have to have a patient access code and all of this different stuff, I don't see how patients would gain access to any information but their own if they could even really do that with.
Right.
But it's just people are weird about technology kind of stuff. So Curve has put plenty of safety checks in place to make sure that nothing is compromised.
Got it.
Okay. All right. Any questions about that at all, doctor?
Nope.
Okay.
There's that
Perfect.
bluefin payment processing setup. Just waiting for Edward Furco to give me the go ahead.
Just waiting for old Ed.
Just waiting for old Ed to bend his knees and agree.
Oh, goodness. All right, let's start talking about form templates. So this one's really fun. I can always tell computer nerds whenever we go into this because they get really quiet because they want to start just playing with everything.
Okay.
So go ahead and go up to your more option for me.
I actually, Brooke and I do a lot of form templates with Beachbody because we use Wufoo forms and Google Forms when we send out questionnaires and stuff for people to find out about their
Mm-hmm.
health and fitness goals and everything like that, and then also to screen them so we get all their information. So that's why I was interested in this.
This is really cool. It works really great. And like I said, they're even expanding its functionality. So
Mm-hmm.
go ahead and click on form templates for me.
Okay.
And click on your orange box with your white plus sign. We're going to create a whole new form.
Okay.
Okay. You can name it whatever you'd like. Perfect. And then go ahead and create. Okay, so this is your form builder. Looks pretty basic right from the beginning, but you can turn this into all sorts of cool stuff. So basically, you have rows and you have columns. The little up and down gray bar on your left-hand side, that is to add columns. So go ahead and click inside there.
Hmm.
You can add up to 4 columns per row. And then the gray bar that's lengthwise, underneath, there you go. That's for your rows. So you can add in rows as necessary. If you add something in by mistake, you do have a little trash can where you can delete. If you make something absolutely perfect, you can copy it right there. Exactly. All of the information that you have to pull from as far as what questions, what types of information do you want inside of your form are listed over on the left-hand side in the orange boxes. Yep. So when you find something that you want to add in, you'll simply grab the field and drag it over into the row or column that you want it to be in.
Is there an option for required? Like they have to fill it out?
You There's not an option for required, but you can assign it a signature. So if you look at the bottom of the screen, there's a little box that says this form includes a signature. So if this is more just a patient information form, or like I've seen some offices do like a small consultation type form, that's not really all that important. It's just more for your information. Then you can leave the signature out. But if it's something that you want to be a legal document, you can include a signature.
Okay.
Okay. If you're searching for something specific, you can use the red bar up at the top on the left-hand side to search for keywords.
Okay.
Okay, and then more form tools are down at the bottom. So if you want to put a header, a separator, or a text block. So if you're trying to use your own, if you're trying to make your own consent form for something, you would add in just one big text block, type in whatever it is that you're putting in your consent, or copy and paste it over from wherever you have it saved on your computer, and then make sure to add a signature to any consent forms that you put in here.
Okay.
Okay. All right, and then down at the bottom left-hand side, you'll notice there's a little blue eyeball. If you click on that eyeball, you'll be able to see your form in different templates. So go ahead and click there. And now at the bottom, you have a computer screen, a tablet, and a phone. So if you want to double check as you're building your forms, what is this going to look like on someone's iPhone? What's it going to look like on my iPads in my office? You can change the format there so that you can actually see what it'll look like.
Okay.
Okay? And go ahead and close. Now, I have not heard any kind of negative anything about these forms other than specialty offices wanting the ability to write in their own questions or change the format of the questions. So you notice that the questions in here are kind of preloaded. So if you wanted to change the wording, there's not a way to at this point. But again, they're beta testing that now, and it's been in beta testing for 2 months. So I'm going to think within the next month, they'll send that out to everybody so that you will have that availability. Once they do that, you'll get one of your little pop-ups on the first screen whenever you log into Curve, and it'll tell you that you have custom fields available. So you'll be able to come in and change the way these things are worded.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you know if they're also adding in a place to add in like video where you can embed like a, I mean, that would be awesome. Like a welcome video, you know what I mean? So like you
That
embed,
would be awesome.
yeah. So you can embed a video that links from Vimeo or YouTube, so they don't have to have it. You don't have to be holding the file. All you're doing is embedding it. So that way, when the patient pops it up on their kiosk, there's a video of me like welcoming them to the practice and everything.
Yeah, that would be cool. I would send that in as a suggestion too. I've never heard anybody suggest that before, but that would be a good one for sure.
Okay.
Okay. And do you notice how the questions are here? That's what I was talking about
Yeah.
earlier, that just sometimes with specialty offices, it's just not quite worded around your specialty the way that you might want it to be. So otherwise, there's lots of information here. I haven't heard anybody say that they needed something specific that wasn't in there, as far as the key things that you would want in a form. everything should be there for you. And you can add in as much or as little as you want.
But couldn't you just add, like, for instance, like, let's say right here, if you add in, like, a text block, then, like, let's say, I don't know, what are your health and fitness goals? Like, can't you enter, is there a place to enter in now, like, their response?
There isn't. So that's the custom fields that they're working on.
Ah, got
So
it.
there
Okay.
will be once they release that. For right now, there isn't a way to do that.
Okay.
So, and that's kind of what offices were talking about with stuff like that. So those text blocks will be just more like, please make sure to fill out this section as it helps us to treat your child, or whatever the case may be.
Got it. Okay.
Or please start thinking about these questions so that we can review these during your child's exam.
Got
So
it.
more for patient information, not so much with a response.
Okay. Or for if I'm doing
Okay.
like a full consent, right?
Right.
Okay. Like nitrous and things
Yep.
like that. Okay.
Okay.
Post op
All right.
forms.
Any questions about this at all?
Nope.
Okay. Now, once you've created your forms down at the bottom, we saw this a little bit with patient demographics, but you can click on the three bubbles and that'll give you some more information there or some different options. So you can preview it, you can look at the properties, you can edit it, duplicate it. So if you have some forms that are pretty similar, and you just want to make kind of a copy and make a few changes, you can rename it or you can archive it. When you go into your live database, if you keep getting that little the little sign that says that you don't have access to forms, remember that that's in administration, and you'll need to go to user management, make sure that everybody has access to forms. And it looks like it worked after we changed it to all instead of just forms and leaving mobile out. So that might be a part of it too.
Yeah, and it helped. Well, and I
Okay.
logged out and I logged back in.
Right. So
Okay.
if you can't gain access to your forms in your live database, that's go there. That's typically the issue that's causing that.
Okay.
Okay. Your forms are also filed in files and letters. So you'll of course be able to see completed forms over on the right-hand side under your forms module. But if you click on files and letters, I think that it stores a copy of your forms there too. Yep.
Oh yeah.
So if your patient wants a printout of their form, maybe they sign a special consent form and they want a copy or something like that, then you can go to files and letters and print that out for them or email it to them or whatever the case may be.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any questions at all?
I think that's it.
Okay, so as
Yeah.
far as those form templates, just go through, play around with it, especially now that you have your training database. You can definitely